All right, you guys, we are kind of in the second part of our lesson. So we would have just finished up the synchronous true or not quiz, and really the rest of the time is kind of some choice for you. So if you would like to go through this video at your own pace, that is perfectly fine. If you want to go back to the Google Meet and get some extra help there, even better. I will be in the Google Meet ready to help, ready to explain stuff, even do a live lesson if you would rather do that. Just be on the lookout for a Schoology message. If I don't have anybody and it's pretty quiet, I might just check in with you and see how math is going. But if I don't do that, make sure you are checking in with me at some point when you finish both the homework quiz and these video notes. So your last 5 is at your own time today. And that is just when you finish stuff. Just come say, hey, Mr. Roche, I finished. And then maybe tell me what you're doing for the weekend. That would be cool for me to hear. Today we're talking about solving systems using a graphing calculator. And really I see 2 uses for this. One, when we have a decimal, a really nasty decimal intersection point. And 2, if you want to just verify your answers and make sure that you're getting it correct. We're going to talk about how to graph these, and then a function that your calculator has to find the intersection. So we will get started with that here. Today's video is brought to you by Harry Potter World in Orlando Studios. I've never been there, but I would like to. I think if I went, I would immediately go to Ollivander's wand shop and buy a wand that interacts with stuff around the park. I think that would be cool. The wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Roche. So I'm going to be using this calculator that I've done a few times in class. It's using like the Minnesota testing site. And I posted this on Schoology as well, if that would be helpful for you to use. Basically, we're just going to hit start until we get this little calculator icon up here. And this is a really helpful calculator. It does everything that a normal TI-84 would do, which is really cool, and it's free and online. If you are using a physical calculator, it should do exactly the same stuff, but there is a couple of things we might have to set up and make sure that you are ready to graph. So if you've used it for a stats class or a science class or just kind of messed with the settings, we need to reset some of those. So the first thing that we're going to do to get our calculator set up is to turn off our stat plots. Stat plot is the y equals button. You can see that it's in blue up there, so you have to hit second before you do that. So I'm going to hit second. That gets me into the blue actions on each of the keys. And then I hit y equals to get to my stat plots. And we just want to make sure that these ones with the little graph icons underneath them, oops, go back to that, are all turned off, and that we're not working in a stats function here. Your calculator can do a lot of cool stats stuff, but we're not going to be using that right now. Additionally, we want to make sure that we're in function mode because we're working with functions here. Mode is right next to the second button here. So if you go to your second button and then go down, oh boy, go down, there we go. There's radian, and then there's function, and we just want to make sure that that is highlighted. If it's not, go over to it and hit enter, and it should be highlighted after that. We got 2 more. One is to make sure that all of your equations in here are cleared out. So scroll all the way down. There should be 10 of them, and you shouldn't have anything pop up on your graph before you start. And then speaking of your graph, it is very possible that your window is kind of goofed up, and I'm going to goof up mine to show you what it might look like. If your graph window looks something like that, if you hit zoom and then 6 is standard, you can either scroll down to it or just hit the number 6. It'll turn it back into a 10 by 10 4-quadrant graph. So that is going to be our friend today. I'm also going to talk about one more zoom trick that will help you find multiple intersection points. So when we want to find the intersection between two lines in a graphing calculator, the first thing we have to do is graph them and put them into that y equals spot that we just made sure was cleared out. So if you have any in standard form, you might have to change it around. In this first example, they're both ready to go in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do 2/3 x plus 4, and I would really recommend that you use parentheses around that, especially if you're using an older calculator. Sometimes it gets confused, and it's just best to overuse parentheses and be like, hey, this is a fraction, 2/3. And then -6 minus 3, the negative button is down here. You can see it highlighted there and right on the bottom right part of my calculator. So we have -6x, and then I'll actually use the minus button, -3. And then we can go ahead and press graph, and we'll see that our lines match up and intersect right there. You can have like a little cursor guy here using these like directional, the D-pad here. But if we want to make sure we actually get our intersection, we're going to use the calc button. So the calc button is in the same line as y equals. It's right above trace. So I'm going to hit second trace. And then these are a bunch of different things that your calculator can do for you on your graph. We want to find the intersection of these. That's number 5. Again, you can scroll down or you can just hit number 5. And then it's going to ask you which two curves do you want to use. We only have 2 on our graph. So we're really just going to hit enter. Yes, I want the blue. Yes, I want the red. And it also wants you to make a guess. You don't have to make a guess. Just hit enter again. And then it'll show you your intersection right there. And my intersection here looks like it is at x is equal to -1.05 and y is equal to 3.3. Just remember that we want that in a coordinate point. And then be careful of how many decimal places they want you to round to. So here's just a list of all of your steps. Here are checklists that we went through to make sure our graphing calculator was set up. And then here's the steps for solving. I'm going to put another one up on the screen. I would have you pause the video, try it yourself, see if you get the right intersection point, and then you can check your answer against mine. I'll make sure there's nothing hiding over there. Just make sure you use that negative button there for -7x and -4/3 x. So go ahead and pause and try it out, see what you get. So I cleared out my y equals. I'm going to do -4/3 x plus 2. That's my first y value. And then -7x minus 4. So if I hit graph, there are those two. Again, second trace, and then 5 for my intersection. I want the blue line. I want the red line. No, I don't want to make a guess. So my intersection, oops, lost my pen there, -1.06, I'll round to the second spot, and then my y value is 3.41 there. Again, really nice if you get a nasty decimal for your intersection like this. That would not be super fun to solve by substitution or by elimination or by graphing in general, or if you just want to check your answers as well. I do have one more example for you to go through, and that is when we have multiple intersections. So if you type in that bottom equation here, you're going to get a parabola, and this straight line at the top is going to crash through it twice. So see if you can get that set up here quick. Again, maybe pause and see how you do, and then you can compare against what I do. So I have 3x, oops, I lost my y equals there. 3x minus 1. And then I have x squared. And I have, remember that little caret button will get you into the squared. I hit it a couple too many times. So if I go x squared there, minus 4x plus 7. And I graph that, you can see one of the intersection points, and perhaps you see that it's going to intersect there a little bit off our page. So one more thing that I wanted to show you that might be really helpful when you're working with calculators is before we use zoom 6 to get this nice 10 by 10, another really useful zoom feature is zoom 0. It's called zoom fit, and it just fits both of your graphs on there. It kind of messes up this window. So if you look at my y-axis, starts at -31 here, and it goes to 147, which isn't a super nice graph. But in terms of being able to see the intersections, now I can see where they both are. For this one, when you have multiple intersection points, you basically just need to do this Calc 5 twice. So I'm going to scroll over till I'm close to this first intersection, and I'm going to say, yep, I want red. Yes, I want blue. And then there's my first intersection at positive 1.44, comma 3.32. And then if you want the other intersection, you would hope that just pressing this would like bump you over to the other one, but unfortunately that's not the case. We have to actually tell it to give me my intersection again, and you just have to scroll over until you're close to that second intersection that we want. No, I don't want to guess, and then there's your second intersection. So 5.56, comma 15.68. Not super challenging, not also very convenient. You just really have to do it twice, and then make sure that your cursor there is close to whatever intersection point that you want. Hopefully not too bad today. Again, the only thing that we didn't really cover is if your equation is in standard form. So let's say you have this -7x minus 4, and then your other equation is like 3x plus 2y is equal to 18. You'd just have to rearrange this guy before you can put it in your y equals spot. So subtract 3x, divide by 2, just like we had practiced before. That one you'd type in like this. Like I said, I will be in the Google Meets all hour. If you need some extra help, I would be glad to help you out. Make sure you check back in with me when you finish. You are now done with the second thing to do today, and your last thing is just to do a quick homework quiz and finish up your math a little early today. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and have a really good weekend.